Hey tubers, card coming at you. Got a couple cards to show off today, but actually wanted to talk about something with vaults and the hobby vaults that are floating around. Obviously, there's a multitude of them, but I've had some recent experiences with several of them, and I figured I'd share. And then I don't know, seek some thoughts. What you guys, how you guys have dealt with them, or using them, or complete dismissal thereof. Sometimes that's the case as well. But I've had some interesting, back and forth and learning some nuances of them and stuff like that. So figured I'd talk about it. More specifically, PSA vault, eBay vault, PWCC vault, which is now the Fanatics one. So the PSA vault, initially, I never used it. I'm a big PSA person, obviously. It does take you shipping them stuff, which is, highly insured. So, that's expensive in its own right. And then when I initially did it, thinking I might, they only wanted cards that were $100 or more. And from their standpoint, I get it, right? But I'm not playing that game if, it's $80 cards, or $50 cards are real things too, if there's a bunch of them. And so it was like, you only want my good stuff type of thing. And to me, if I sent it to a vault, I'm one step closer to making that asset liquid. And I'm usually, if I'm in a selling mood of some sort, I'm usually gonna do a decent purge of $40 to $75 cards as well, right? And so I don't want to just sell the big ones, right? Because if I can make good money off of the mediums, then I'd rather do that and keep the big one. So never did that. And then as I got aligned with golden auctions, I just never thought that golden auctions was something that aligned with my collection and would sell. eBay vault, I finally used that for the first time about 2-3 months ago. I bought I can't wait to get it in hand finally, a T205 Cy Young. Real nice card. I was just feeling the vibe of, every once in a while I get the vibe I got to pick up something bigger as an investment piece on top of, collecting, right? Like just to continue to build out, the collection, right? Sometimes you go small, sometimes you go mediums. Every once in a while you need to throw another foundational piece in there. That's kind of how I approach it anyway. So I finally used the eBay vault and had it in there, and it's just readily available to see or whatever. Obviously, these vaults love it if you just quick turn this thing, and then they get their little fee and never actually had to do a whole lot besides just play a computer game with who they showed the picture of the card to and told you owned it, right? And in general, the vaults, I was never too excited because I am an actual collector. As you see, I like to display this stuff and everything. A lot of us collectors are very visually oriented and want to see and feel those cards and stuff like that. But I did that. I was overseas. Didn't want to burden my wife with needing to try to receive this thing and sign for it or whatever, and just having it tossed on top of a counter or a desk or in a box somewhere in my closet or something while I was gone. So, all right, and give it a go. eBay vault. Well, the eBay vault recently turned to the PSA vault, and they became one and the same. I don't know how they handled that as far as shipping, or if, I guess there's a possibility that the eBay vault always was PSA vault, co-located, just didn't talk about it type of thing, and then officially became. My interesting nuance with that one was eBay, basically said they sent it to PSA to be in that vault, and then PSA sent me an email saying it was there. But there is no direct association with you when that happens. And so eBay sent it to them. PSA didn't know who I was outside of my email address that I use for eBay, which is awkward. So if I when I was going on to my PSA apps and stuff, that card is not in my vault or my collection through PSA, even though eBay sent it. And so I couldn't get access to it, and so I started sending emails, which I didn't get response to through the apps. It was like, contact us or whatever, and PSA was not responding. And I don't know how much time I'm supposed to give them now. At this point, we're a week and a half into it, and I did the request like 3 times or something through the app. Initially, I wasn't very patient, but at this point, even if I was patient, I wouldn't have got an answer yet. But the question was, hey, like, you guys have this, where is my card? How do I get access to it? Because I want it shipped to me. And finally, I figured out that, and you know, it wasn't overly hard to figure out, but since I got the notification from PSA that the card was there in their possession through basically my Yahoo email account, and I use, you know, a couple years ago I switched Gmail account to my PSA actual registry and everything like that. I went through the process of establishing a PSA account with that Yahoo address, because that's the one tied to eBay, and then the card was visible to me. So they kind of made a shadow account for me just based off my email, and then I had access, and I asked for it, ship it back to me or whatever. It only cost me $6. It's still not here yet, but that seemed kind of cheap for, you know, $2,500 card or something like that. So we'll see. Hopefully it was insured and everything like that. It was sitting there long enough. So I guess it was about 3 months ago that I initially bought it, maybe. So I guess it was there long enough, because after 90 days they don't charge you the processing fee. But it seemed a little loose, right, from that process. You don't, I guess PSA kind of knew my name, but not really. They just kind of identified me as an email account, and that's how the eBay vault became the PSA vault on that end. And so just having access to that email allowed me to access my vault. I guess that's normally what it is, but, you know, feels like that's loose enough where some, you know, bad actors or something could get involved and gut a collection of something that got converted from eBay over to PSA. But card's on the way, and I will excitedly show that off when I get it. But I don't plan on, again, having anything at the PSA vault, just because if I'm going to have it in a vault, I'm going to be ready to liquidate it. You know, even if I have no intentions, like, you know, it might as well be helpful if that ever happens and I'm not selling through Golden or whatever like that. I guess we could go the other direction and go through eBay, but we'll see. And then PWCC vault. I've had a PWCC account for quite some time. Obviously they've gone through the rigmarole of having their reputation smeared or whatever, and deservedly so in many instances, I'm sure. Thankfully, I never got notified that I had any cards that were trimmed and stuff like that from that way back when. But anyway, I have sold a lot of cards through PWCC, more specifically in one giant chunk a couple years ago. So I've used them, kept that account, whatever. While I was overseas, it was just like, hey, if I buy certain stuff through them, because sometimes you get an auction deal, not a lot, which is weird because I don't think they get the volume of bidders, but somehow the key stuff always just gets bid up significantly. But I've got some medium pieces or whatever here and there, and I was like, all right, well, there's no reason to just keep shipping these things to the house for my wife to shove in a closet, or to never even open, and it's just in a, you know, a bubble mailer or something like that, and not even get opened for several months or something. So I had that vault going or whatever. Didn't visit it for a while. I finally came back. I was like, where the hell is my PWCC app and everything else? It all got converted to Fanatics without even me knowing about it, or paying attention to it. I didn't know about it. We knew some of those things following a hobby, but I had to find the app because I didn't know what the Fanatics app looked like on my iPad. And I got enough apps. Like, you go, where is this thing at? PWCC was a little bit easier because it was just this, you know, bright black and yellow deep icon. So anyway, so I went through that, and I was on the phone or the iPad, one of the two, and it didn't give me the option of collectively requesting them. I could request individual cards to get sent back to me. I did this for one or two cards, and I was like, it seems like they're charging me a good bit of shipping, and there's no way that shipping should cost that much if there were multiples or whatever. So I went on the computer, created a little grouping or whatever and sent back to me, but I already had like invoices established for a bunch of them that I was requesting, and they were all individual invoices. Well, one of the good things about PWCC all along is they have, and I don't know, answer this for me, folks, if it happens to everybody with a PWCC account or just, I don't know, certain levels of interaction with them, business, whatever, that has been conducted. But I've had an associate assigned to me all along. They've changed out over the last couple years, but the new guy will always hit me up. I don't think I'm not sure if it's regional. I think once the guy said it was regional, but I think he regioned me based on my phone number or something like that. And my phone number's from out in Wyoming. I haven't lived there for a long time, but anyway, somebody reaches out to me or whatever. So I hit that guy up because I saved his email because it was a new guy in the spring, or he just hit me up, I think, before the national, like, hey, do you need anything or something like that. It was a collective email, not just me, but I sent him saying, hey, can you have the people like cancel all these damn invoices because I can't get rid of them, but I want them collectively did it. So he did that within a couple days. That was pretty cool. So then I went on the computer to do it. And again, I'm a little squirrely on the Fanatics transition or whatever. But one of the things I did notice that was pretty odd, and again, these companies just want you to resell these things. They don't actually want you to collect, and receive them or whatever. But I was like, I'm trying to empty this sucker out. I want it all to me, because I don't plan on ever selling through them currently. The last time I've done consignments and stuff, last several times, and I'll continue to do some, are all been with 4 sharp corners, and that's gone pretty well. But it wouldn't let me request more than 90% of the value in my vault, which is weird because I already gutted, not that there was a ton of value there, but I already gutted 50% out on those first couple waves because I took the 2-3 bigger cards that were in there and had them sent back on invoices. So it was, so I still got like 2 or 3 like random cards still there. I'm gonna go back in and request them in a week or something, but it wouldn't, and I thought that was like, you don't get to hijack these things and say, no, I can't request more than that. I just thought that was really weird. So, and I don't like control measures placed against me on my assets like that. It's not like there's an SEC rule or something like that. It's not a commodity in that regard or anything. So I thought that was weird. But I wasn't a big fan of the trend that PWCC was on, and now with Fanatics and stuff like that, it seems like it's growing so fast, such a big cash grab to it. It's starting to feel to me that part of PWCC and Fanatics, probably a lot of people already said it was like that, right? It's disingenuous to the hobby as far as like looking out for me or anything like that. So not something I planned on using, but I thought there were some weird nuances there with the vaults. I wanted to throw that out there. Didn't think I'd ramble for 13 minutes there, but those were some thoughts on it. Let me know what you think, what your interactions were. I'm curious to see it. And I'll save my mail day for another day, but much appreciated. Look forward to the interactions. Later.